Hey everyone, it's Paul here again to look at another one of my basses. Today I'm going to look at my 1983 Squier SQ series precision bass. Before we do, I'll give you a bit of sound. We're choosing D standard for this. We're going through the Trace Elliott Series 6 GP7 amp today and a 1x15. Okay, so SQ series Squier, made in 1983 in Japan in the Fuji-gen Gaki factory. Very high build quality for a essentially a low-priced bass. These were brought out to compete with the copies that were being produced at the Fenders at the time. This bass is totally standard apart from the pickguard. I have the original here. So we've still got all of the original parts, and I've got to say it's absolutely fantastic. I used it with my band Scraper back in 1995 and 96 to record our album, and have the bass ever since. So I bought this in about 1994, I think. I bought it used. Seen a fair bit of work over the years. You can see there's a few bumps and knocks on it. That was from gigging around the UK with the band at the time. It's probably sat in the case up until a couple of years ago when I dragged it out again for a Green Day tribute I was doing. But very good bass. So what's the history of these basses? I'm not really going to go into too much of the history. You can look all that up online. I'm sure other people have made videos. But essentially Fender wanted to make a low priced range, decided to use a Squier name, which is a brand that they owned before. The first set of basses they brought out were the JV series, or Japanese vintage, which used a lot of American parts, certainly around the electronics for some of them. Again, that's a complex web, so go and do some research. If you're looking at a JV bass, they're not all the same. SQ's a little bit more consistent, mainly built in Japan but for the export market. So obviously this one was sold in the UK originally, and so I bought this one used, and I'd say it was £140 back in 1994 used. Probably worth a little bit more than that now, but certainly worth a lot to me, both sentimentally and for its usability as well.
On the headstock you can see the large Squier logo and the large precision bass script, like the traditional Fenders. You can see by Fender underneath the precision bass, and in very tiny letters underneath Squier you can just make out made in Japan. So that's the typical look of the logo of the SQ series. And going down the fretboard, you can see that's a very nice rosewood fretboard, usual dot inlays. Very nice piece of wood for the actual bass body. The pickups, those pickups are actually very high output, even though they're passive, very punchy. And the control knobs obviously were chrome. A lot of the chrome's flaked off over the years. Standard precision bass bridge, very tarnished. That's actually how it came to me in 1994. I've never tried to clean it, kept it original. So I'm going to take a look on Reverb now and see what they've got on here. We can see that there is one single SQ series precision bass. The guy's asking $9.50 for it, so let's take a closer look. So he's actually reduced it from 1,150, and he's saying it's in excellent condition for its age, showing minor battle scars, tries to show the best in the pictures, and he tells us how rare and collectible it is. They certainly are getting harder to come by. I think that's a reasonable price. That's in Adelaide. That's pickup only for 950, so no post. Yes, exactly the same as mine in terms of the headstock, and that's a much later serial number by the looks of it. But yeah, some rash. Somebody's drilled a hole there. Strange. A little bit knocked about, but I think comparable sort of condition to mine on the whole. You know, pluses and minuses for each. Yeah, so 950. So we'll take a final look at the base on the rear side just before we finish up. You can see you've got the large sized tuning pegs there, very traditional. Nice thin neck, it's really comfortable to play. And then down the back side you see some, yeah, it's quite a nice piece of wood, really. Quite a nice sunburst finish. Obviously a few chips, what have you. That little bit of buckle rash there, that was actually there when I got the base back in '94. So battle scar from the previous owner. But there you have it. That's the base. So if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We'll be going through some more of my bass gear very shortly, and I'll be hitting up those Trace Elliot bass amplifiers and actually getting into those in some future videos. So if that's something that interests you, then subscribe, hit that bell icon, and we'll let you know as soon as I've uploaded the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.